blazing your home. So carry me home and find me a place in your soul. The way we touch our pale skin in the shadow town of Berlin, we would be the ones you walk down by. Come, I'll wait alone and make me a place in your yet to come. No more words if you move alone. Walk me to the sound, so we'll be the one. So we'll be the one, so we'll be the one. I'll break the time if you ever get to see what's inside of me.
Pigeon podcast, number 30 something. Yeah, welcome. We have Jarrah and we have Sara.
Hello.
Thank
Jarrah.
you. Hello.
Jarrah or Jarrah?
Jarrah
and Sara. It sounds good like that. Welcome to the podcast, beautiful people. Pleasure to have you here.
Cheers. Thank you.
Yeah. So you guys you're not in the same project, but you work together.
Yeah.
Yes, sort of. Well, I guess we work in many projects together, but we also have like our artistic names. So Skyline Sun and Mio Ma.
Yeah.
But yeah, and we work in lots of different things together.
And you just played 2 of the songs that you guys are having, and they sound very interesting in a way that it's jazz. Sometimes it does not make sense, but there is also the pop elements that keep me sucked in the song, and I'm not losing the stability
Oh,
that
that's
there is.
interesting. Because
Yeah.
I wouldn't know how to tag or like which genre to put them in sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's different also because this is like acoustic versions, and that sort of brings attention to some different elements within. Like it brings more attention to the chords, where like in a produced version there's less attention to the harmony because there's a lot more things going on.
Yeah.
So then in the EP that we're at this point about to release, at this point, it's more of a focus on the vocals, I would say, and the groove, I guess, in the produced version. That's how I perceive it.
There's definitely lots of backing vocals and melodies and like sometimes too much, not too much,
Nah,
but like
it's fine.
yeah, we had to tell to the sound guy that was doing the master and the mix, like, get ready. Like there's like at least, I don't know, like
70 tracks or something.
70 tracks.
No vocals alone. Yeah, but we can allow ourselves to do it
Yeah.
today with all the technology we have.
Yeah,
We don't
Definitely.
need like 5 very expensive mixers, so it's all doable. How did you guys meet? How did you guys start to work together?
Sara?
So I think now, probably it's like 3 years ago,
Yeah.
Jarrah just moved to Berlin. Me too, in a way. And we met through some friends and started a collective together that was called What We Are, which doesn't unfortunately exist anymore. But it was a project where we were bringing our own compositions, like all of us. We just put like different musicians together and we arranged our compositions to play with the band. And we started playing there, and then it happened that we went to a jam session together, and we ended up in a house band of a jam session together called Soul Jam.
Soul Jam, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, we just started having many projects, different projects together.
Yeah. That's pretty much how it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Soul Jam is one of the most epic jam sessions in Berlin, I must say.
Yeah.
You guys run it in Badehaus, which is also one of the best places to do any live concerts or any live playing in Berlin.
Nice, thank you.
Yeah, so really good job about it.
We put a lot of
cheers.
love to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it shows up also the community that is coming to those jam sessions. They're very unique kind of people who go there.
Nice.
Yeah, so good job about it.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
And how basically, I'm curious, how does everything work together for you, both of you, or individually? Because you do many projects, it looks like. And then you have your own individual project.
Yeah.
And I know from my life that every time there is something else coming, then there is less for what I really want to do or was my main focus. And it's like an art form to keep the balance of dancing on many weddings, but somehow being married only one time. So how is it for you guys? How do you manage to keep the balance? How do you keep your boundaries? How do you keep your schedule? Or what is most important?
Yeah, it's
very difficult.
That's very difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been a very much a learning process for me over the past couple of years how I manage that. Also, like only transitioning in the last 2 years, more or less, to a full-time musician. Before that, I always had a side hustle and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just getting to the point of prioritizing figuring out what the priorities are, and then being able to factor saying yes or no to a certain gig or a job or whatever the situation is, and then still creating, into your schedule the time to push your own stuff as well. It's challenging. It's very challenging.
Yeah. For me, I still have a side job, which is exhausting because you gotta find energies for everything you might not have. Like at the end of the day when you finish the side job, and then you still have to go to the studio to record, and then your voice is like broken because you woke up at 7, you know. That's very frustrating for me, to be honest. And then there's days you just forget to eat, and then you're like
Yeah.
at 9 p.m. and you're like, fuck, I didn't eat in the whole, like,
Almost the whole day.
there's really no balance. Like for me now, this is my next chapter, you know. I'm really trying to, I don't know, I joined the gym, and like I trying to keep a bit healthier my my alimentation. How do you say it in English? Like the food.
Like habits? I don't know.
Yeah, like habits with food, and like keep the meals and like so on, because it's really, yeah, I'm the worst doing that.
You're the worst.
I'm the worst, yeah, really.
Huh. Yeah, it's interesting. For me, the balance is about self-care as well.
Yeah.
Like, this is something that I neglect. If I have a lot of pressure, I neglect the self-care.
Yeah.
And I think this is the most important, the self-care. It's sometimes I have this illusion that if I just do 1 more hour, I can be more productive. But matter of fact, when I rest, this 1 hour, I can allow myself to be more productive in the week after, in the month after.
Yeah.
And just about resting, stretching my body, doing stuff that I really like to do without any stress of making something out of it, just for the sake of doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, it's difficult though to keep the balance.
It is. It's definitely it. Yeah, and then find also time for yourself and the people you love to spend with, you know,
Yeah.
because it's not only about work, of course, life, but yeah, very difficult. So,
But it's nice to combine some activities together, and then, you know, the time is a bit more leveraged. Like, for example, if I watch YouTubes about something that I want to learn, then I just play guitar just to warm up, or just practice some snare just to warm up, and those kind of stuff. You also have those kind of hacks that you do.
I quite often practice while, or just like, noodle, like practice on guitar when watching something is like, well, okay, I can practice some scales or some arpeggios or some like technical exercises. So I stay, I don't know, my hand is always there, and it feels good. Well, I can turn off my brain a little bit at the same time.
I do crochet. I like it.
Nice. That's awesome.
I do crochet, yeah, but only to switch off my mind.
What is
like
it?
crochet, like knitting.
Oh, knitting.
Yeah,
Cool.
this relaxes me a lot, but yeah, I try to keep it, like, not be productive while doing that. So I
But
just take it.
It's also productive if you're knitting yourself a bag or a
Oh
scarf.
my
or
god, I have so
Very
much
productive.
stuff.
It's very interesting world. There's how we just some movements. You do the same movement, right?
Oh
it
my
just,
God,
the
yes.
reputation and some techniques how to make I don't know, the sleeve. Just
I
great
never
stuff.
thought I would have the patience to do something like this, and then I just found myself enjoying it a lot, like, because it's very repetitive, you know, and you just like create something out of nothing, which I love. It's the same, yeah. It's
What
with
got you
music.
into that?
Huh?
What got you into that?
Well, I have a lot of hobbies that I start and I leave, and like I have a very, very good friend back in my hometown called Esteva. And when I go home, I like to just meet him and see which hobbies he also got, because it's very surprising the things he does. And then I got back this Christmas, and he was like, "Look, I just got classes of how to do how does he call it? Oh fuck, I don't remember. But it's basically a stamp that you do yourself, like you customize, and then you put it in the ink and you mark a book. Ex libris, it's called. So it's like the stamp to mark, instead of putting Jarrah, this is my book, you just use the stamp. Yeah.
Okay,
and he was customizing the stamp. So like literally making it. So like that was one of the hobbies.
That's very particular.
Yeah, I know.
This is very specific, yes.
So we sat down and do this stamp, and then I was like, oh, and you know what? I'm also crocheting. And I was like, I want to learn how to crochet. And then he just taught me how to crochet. And then I went back to Berlin, kept on.
And this one you kept, this hobby.
And this one I kept, not the ex libris. It's like you need a lot of stuff to do that. Yeah.
And what do you like about it that made you stay there?
The crochet? Mm-hmm. It's very relaxing. And I'm like, I suffer a lot from productivity. Like I feel like I need to be producing something all the time, which I wish sometimes it would be less, because it's too much sometimes. But crochet is a beautiful mix of something that relaxes you, but still you're producing something. So like I found there a very good balance to like not feel bad because I'm only like watching The Office or Netflix series, but I'm still creating something.
Yeah. It's cool. I also have some weird hobbies. Like right now, a few weeks ago, I bought this Comanche, this instrument. It's right there on the bed.
Oh yeah, nice.
It's an ancient violin. I think it's.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really weird, funky instrument. You put it on your knee, and then the bow goes in the front.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's how you play it. So it's also
Crazy.
fretless. It's not, there is not even a fretboard. There is just
Yeah.
a chunk of wood and
Yeah.
some strings on top of it.
Yeah.
And I was scared of it, and I thought I need to play it just
Wow.
because it scares me so much.
Yeah, nice.
It looks so mysterious, and this is my hobby, kind of. So I try to figure this
Still
instrument.
musical though.
Yes, but it's deeper than music because I know music, but I know it in instruments that tell me how to play those notes. You know,
Yeah.
if I have frets or if I have keys or if it's saxophone that I have the notes. And this one I don't have the notes. I
Yeah.
do not have it at all. I need to
Yeah.
figure it out
Yeah,
and
sure.
to figure the system of usually how to use the bow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, actually how to use the bow. So it's even, I think it's even less, how do you say it? Not authentic. Intuition. Well, what's the word? Intuitive. Yeah.
It's less
Yeah.
intuitive.
It's less
yeah.
intuitive than singing, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, singing
Because-
is fully intuitive.
Yes,
I
but
would
this
say.
is
Because you speak every day. Everyone can use the
Yeah.
vocal cords.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
it's really crazy. What do you do just to get yourself off the music or daily life? Nothing. I go there full time.
He's a full-time musician.
I don't
I can
know.
tell.
I don't really have any other hobbies. Well, actually, no. I like playing like some, like a little bit of sport, but I very rarely do it. To be honest, like playing table tennis or some football or something like that. But I'm very inconsistent with when and how often I play. But yeah, I used to do a lot of sport when I was younger, so I definitely really enjoy that still. Every chance there's a kicker table or a tisch tennis table, I'm always like, let's go, let's play right now, every time. But
You're so nerd about the technique to have the perfect hit or maybe the right way.
maybe I think and I guess also it goes beyond to like board games or when I was younger, also video games and stuff like that. It's just like the thing about strategy or technique, as you say, or the similar ideas, where I always find really interesting. Like playing chess is interesting because it's like strategy based and you have to like outsmart the other person, and I find that stuff very interesting.
Yes. Yeah, chess is one of the most incredible games I think we have as humans. It's incredible to think that we monkeys, we developed this very complex system that we can play a very complex game.
And that it's also still so complex, and it's very like pretty old compared to other board games and all that sort of stuff that we play, and it's still just as complex.
Do you know Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
I know of it, like
Did you hear about it?
No.
Basically it's grappling, so it's like wrestling, but a little bit different.
Wait.
It's a martial art.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course I heard about it.
And this is like chess on steroids.
Wow.
Everything is so fast. And basically the goal in the end, either to choke someone or to lock their hands.
Wow.
/ break them. So that's the end goal
Wow.
in this very fast chess game. But it's like chess because you have different movements that you can do. Of course, you have the rules. There are some positions that you need to achieve. And once you achieve those positions, you get points. So you can do the same thing as chess. So you can also try to make kind of a strategy that the person think that you are stupid, basically, but then you lead them to a place that you want to attack him somehow.
Yeah.
You do the same thing as well with jiu-jitsu. But it's movement and it's very fast.
Crazy.
It's a fraction of a second that you can,
imply for them to go somewhere
Yeah,
that you
exactly.
counter-attack them here and
But sometimes they let you, if they're really smart, they let you lead them there so they can fool you once you fool them, kind of. And it all
Wow.
depends about the vocabulary, how many moves do you know, and how do you apply them.
Wow.
Yeah, and
Wow.
what I realized about just basically every hobby, sorry, not habit, every hobby that we have is that it somehow affects other skills
Yeah.
in life.
Definitely.
I really enjoy making food, and I think once I start to go deep into mixing music and making food, then something clicked better. Also for the
Beautiful.
mixing and also for the food, just
Nice.
combining techniques
Interesting.
together. Did you ever had one of those in your life that you thought, I learned something here, but I can apply it in a different subject?
Not exactly. I feel like not in in as interesting way as you just described. I think more in like problem solving and stuff like that, where like being able to navigate some social situations has also helped me to navigate. Let's say, this is why this needs to be uncluttered, or like my own let's say mentality has also helped in social situations, but it's not like exactly the same, very different things that you compared, like food and mixing, for
Yeah.
example.
I think
Different.
I think I see it more in between art disciplines, like more than in completely different stuff, like dance or theater and music and like.
You also dance.
Yeah, too. I studied theater in the university, so yeah, I learned some stuff there about discipline, or like that I can totally see myself in now applying to music, for example, or like, yeah. But food and mixing, I like that a lot.
Yeah, definitely. You know, you have the low end. For me, it's like the fat. This is the low end. It glues everything together. I see salt as a compressor. Yeah. And then you can add some vinegar or some lemons to bring the high ends.
Wow,
that's
the
funny.
salt as a compressor, it's amazing.
Salt is compressor.
Compressor?
We should do a song about
Really? I feel like salt is a saturator.
It's also saturator, yeah.
Yeah, because it saturates, enhances the flavors, you know?
Yeah, this is true.
I don't know.
It
I'm
depends how
just
you
thinking
use
this
it.
now, so.
If you use it in a soup, let's say, it's a compressor. If you use it for a long cook, it's a compressor. Then everything gets compressed and together. So you don't have dynamic range of taste of the
Yeah.
food, right?
Yes.
You have like some mash that is happening. Yeah, and if you add it afterwards and it doesn't cook for a while, then it's a saturator.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's all the same. It's all alchemy. Everything
Yeah.
that we do, I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
alchemy.
Absolutely.
And we just need to find the right way to alchemize it.
Yeah.
That's very
funny.
cool. Yeah, and how do you guys approach releasing the music? You told me you have some plan about releasing once a month a new single and then get it more and more frequent. And how do you approach the releasing for the project that you guys both have together and also individually? I think that this subject is something that musicians usually struggle with. And it's something that I would like to share as much light as possible. So feel free to share as much as you want.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like it can be a very there's so many ways to do everything, of course. But for this EP that we're releasing at the moment, I guess it was the idea. Just I don't know. I think it's like, for me, it was like a step back and trying to figure out what sort of goals or what we're wanting out of the release, and therefore what sort of game should we be playing, in a sense of, do you know what I mean?
Yes, but Jarrah is the mastermind of all this. Like,
But so, you know, if we're wanting to go down like the smaller monetization route and then like just do Bandcamp, or we're wanting to do like just physical, or we're wanting to push to have
Instagram,
only more
like,
gigs, or if
Yeah.
we're wanting to do the Instagram, Spotify game, or I feel like it just has to be focused, and you have to, choose one and then do that, like play that game. So at the moment it is definitely the like waterfall slow burn release of content releases every month or 3 weeks, and then slowly we're going to be speeding up going into the EP, and then I guess the idea, even going beyond this release, like for my own plans, like my release schedule is essentially booked until February next year.
Sick. Like, you should see it. It's crazy.
It's the best way.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so that's my process, and it's still like I've done similar stuff like this before. Like I did a 6-month release plan 2 years ago, and it didn't go exactly as I hoped. But now I've got a much bigger body of work going into the next 7 months, and I know there's going to be more stuff that's going to be created in that time that will go next,
Yeah, of course.
and then next, and they will just keep getting pushed, and they will keep getting more and more releases, and that's the idea.
And what is the goal for you guys?
Yeah, I'll let you go, Sara.
Oh my God.
Oh, do you want me to go?
Yes. because I totally followed Jarrah on that. Like, to be honest, I think sometimes I would have had a more naive mind in the sense like, that's the work we have, let's just put it outside. And then Jarrah's like, no, like, wait, like we gotta squeeze everything out of it, you know? Like, if you put it in the pool of internet, it's so easy that it's just gonna get lost.
And
so
just
like,
disappears, yeah.
and that's very frustrating, I think, for all the artists, that because we know all the work we've done for that release to be out. So I just followed Jarrah, and I think it was completely right. Like, you gotta have a plan.
Yeah.
So what's the goal of the plan, Jarrah?
Well, I know, like, if you think of, like, yeah, for me, I guess if it's, like, long-term stuff, you know, I'm wanting, you know, you can see growth from each single, from each release. If that's through PR, like, you see more attention in general, just want to see that keep increasing. But then, I think it's just, in some sense, it's like attention and, I don't know, can't think of a better word, but like clout in some sense. If you clout?
Cloud?
Clout.
What does it mean?
Like reputation, I guess.
Oh.
Like good, like you've got good clout, you've got a good reputation, or like people know that stuff's happening, I guess. And because that carries over to the thing that I'm sure both of us want to push more for, which is live gigs, and that's where you get paid more as well.
Definitely.
Anyway. And you just, if you've got more attention, more stuff to show for it, then you're more likely to get the response from the booker that you've been trying to contact for the last 6 months or whatever it is like that. So absolutely, there's like that's my idea and hoped that as I'm constantly still trying to do the booking game and all that sort of stuff, that the releases enhance that push and enhance that other arm of the release goals and stuff like that, I guess. Yeah,
it's very cool. We also met, Jarrah and I, like a month ago, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, we just set up and talked because I want to find a band where I can just help them and accompany them in their marketing and see what's going on with some artists. But then some band already caught my attention. So I want to help to work with you, basically. But then we thought, let's just meet, see what's up.
Yeah.
And it was very productive conversation. We're just talking about a lot of marketing and about a lot of techniques and the ways how, you know, what works, what is not working. So I'm very happy that you're here today as well, sharing your knowledge. I think you're one of the few people in Berlin who are, let's say, kind of independent, but still doing the work that it looks so professional. I mean, you get it from all the points somehow. And this is so difficult to do it. You need a lot of focus. And I think also you might automate a lot not programs.
Like some of the work, or
some of the work, some of the process. That's the word that I was looking for. Is it true that you automate some stuff?
Some stuff, not as much anymore. Like I've absolutely still do some more on the booking side of stuff. I do some email automation. But besides that, not really. Which I'm sure if I did some more research, I'm sure there could be ways to automate it, or, you know, refine the workload and the process further so I could spend more time. But that also takes time, so that's also like a balance to try and figure out. how to do that. But I think, at least from the recent PR I've been doing, it's been extremely unautomated and a lot more really specifically targeted, and it's been way more successful.
Yeah, you get more rates of success.
Yes, I've got in the last single, got much more radio play, much more press and articles and stuff like that, and all of it was extremely targeted. Like, I knew the person, I researched the show, I messaged them asking what their submission process was. This is for radio, for example. I listened back to their show. I quote that, I'm really glad that you played this song on the last show last week. I'm just listening to the show now. Sounds great. And then it's all about like trying to prove that you know that what you're talking about. It's personal to the person and that you're professional at the same time, which takes a lot of time and research.
Yeah, definitely, but it's worth it.
Yes, absolutely.
Is it the only way to do it?
I don't know. I don't have a good answer to that, but that's the way I've done it before, which is like press releases and good. What I think is good pitch, but then just like sending it to hundreds. It's not worked for me in the past, so I tried a different approach, and it's working much better, at least from what I can see so far.
It's very cool. What is much better? How much in percentage do you think the success went up?
Well, I would say. We've been played on 4 or 5 different radio shows. We've got and compared to, okay, so I released a single late last year, also with a different producer and singer friend of mine, and we also did the press release, articles, all that sort of stuff, but we just sent it out to hundreds of places, not targeted at all. We had a good list of people that we thought it would be the right style and the right music, but it wasn't targeted to the person receiving the email. And we got 1 article, I think, from hundreds of emails here. And this time, got 5 radio plays. We're going to get another one next week. I'm pretty sure we're going to get an article, a big interview written up for the EP. We've got 3 or 4, 5 other write-ups on the wee hour, so it's been way better.
Yeah,
way
sounds
better.
like it.
Yeah,
It takes some research and the time and
Yes.
the effort, but it's worth it.
it takes a lot of research time.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the producing the EP that you guys are releasing.
Sure.
How did it came about to decide we're gonna release? Is it as an EP? Did you decide it before you wrote the songs, or do you had collections?
No, so we used to basically meet up and just try stuff, like try to produce some songs or like to see what it would come up. And then after some time working together, sorry, we just had a bunch of songs, and then we felt that some of them were not fitting with the other half of the songs we had. So we decided to kind of like split them into 2 poles, like one that it's more like R&B, soul based, and the other one it's more dancey stuff, more produced housey, I don't know, a lot of text. And then the EP one that looked more R&B, soul-ish, it was more ready, or like it had more shape. It was more ready to deliver. So we focused on that. We finished that. We work on this one, and it was these 4 songs, but they came up after, I don't know, a working process that was not specified as a let's release an EP. Just happened.
And it's only both of you, or are you sharing also with other players the recordings?
It's pretty
Us?
much, yeah.
Well, we have musicians around, which we work usually together with. Some of them are also belonging to the jam, like just people we have in our community, and they played in some of the songs.
Yeah, so
like
we've got
Max, Henry,
Max,
Kelly.
so Tufty Head, Max, and then Kelly O'Donoghue on trumpet is on one track.
Oh, she's incredible.
She's
Kelly.
incredible.
Yeah.
Henry Weeks.
Henry
also playing
Weeks
the
on
saxophone. Also
saxophone.
big love for Henry.
He's on one track off this EP. Yeah. And then besides that, I think that's it.
I think that's it.
I don't want to be
I
forgetting
don't want to
anyone.
be
No, I'm pretty sure that's it.
Yeah.
And then besides that, we produce, everything together.
Cool. And what about the live? How do you approach live?
Yeah, it depends.
Interesting.
We play a lot of duo gigs.
Yeah.
At least at the moment. So
Like we just heard with the guitar?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Which of course is very different to the produced sound. But yeah, we've played a couple times when I've had like Skyline gigs. Like Sara's gotten up and joined for some songs or half the set or stuff like that. So then normally it would be like a four piece, like keys, bass, drums, guitar, and then vocals. So.
They work very good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed a lot with the band. when I played.
Agreed. And that will be the same setup for our EP launch on the 5th of August as well.
Hell yeah, it's 5th of August. Where is it going to be?
At Monash.
Monash. Where is that?
At Coty. But yeah, it should be. Yeah, I'm really excited to finally have like the proper, release show, because the EP will be out on the day before, on the 4th.
The 4th.
4th of August. Yeah.
Anything special for the concert?
Just a full EP. There will be a lot more songs and music playing, but I think it will be the first time we're gonna play the whole thing full band.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah.
It will be the first time we play the whole EP with full band, start to finish, and also maybe some unreleased stuff.
Yeah.
And some also unreleased stuff of my upcoming album, which is coming out later in the year as well.
Oh, yes. Gonna be a full party.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a bunch of freshly released music and unreleased music, I guess.
It's gonna be very exclusive to me. How many songs do you have in the EP?
On this EP, it's just 4.
4 songs.
But I say this EP very specifically because there's a lot more that there's a lot more that are still some are pretty much finished, but the next EP that we have essentially is not quite there yet. But we've got another whole EP, and then I don't know when exactly that will be coming out, but we'll figure it out.
Because as I said before, we used to just meet and start things, but not finish them. So we would have a bunch of open projects. And then Jarrah was at some point okay, we gotta focus, otherwise we're gonna keep forever just
having 20 tracks between each other. Yeah.
I want to ask you a question, but I forgot what it was. All right, let's ask something interesting. So let's say, and we go back to the food. If your music was food, how would you describe the dish that we're experiencing as we listen to the music?
Hungry. Wow.
So let's think about. So the EP is called Hibernation. Let's think about what meal. What
it's
meal
comfort food for sure.
It's comfort food.
Like home food.
Yeah. Which for you is what? I'm curious. What's your comfort food? It's personal.
Oh, for me, that
Paella.
sounds so Spanish, but
Paella?
a tortilla de patatas, with some nice cheese and some tomato bread. Oh. Wow, I would love to eat it right now. It's comfort hangover food, But you come from the other side of the fucking world. What's your comfort food?
I don't know what my comfort. I'm trying to think what my comfort food is.
Some kangaroos.
Kangaroos.
Yeah, you come from Australia.
Yeah, I've never eaten kangaroo before though. But I'm vegetarian. But
It can be vegetarian kangaroos.
Oh my god!
I'd say most are. If they're not a vegetarian kangaroo, there's probably something very scary about the kangaroo. Cannibal kangaroo. Anyway. I don't know what my comfort food is. But I'm thinking, even if it's not my personal comfort food, what would the food be for Hibernation? I think it would be. It's like I see it that it's like a very winter, at home, cozy sort of environment, and that's why we're definitely releasing it in summer at the.
Well, summer in Berlin, it's like winter, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Even though I'm not a massive soup fan, but I just
Don't even say food. No. I
soup.
disagree with the soup.
Soup?
Don't say soup. I ban it. Veto.
You veto the
I veto the soup.
Okay, then I'm just gonna be like. Then I'll go the other way. I'll go extremely German. I'll just go like mashed potato.
Goulash.
That's not German.
Goulash, it's international food.
Yeah, and it's also more Eastern European.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'd say mashed potato and like sauer Ei.
Sour eye.
Do you know sauer Ei? No,
Kennst
do you know?
Sour eye, it's like egg.
Yeah, it's like
It's fermented egg.
It's fermented egg
What do you
God,
ferment it
Jarrah.
with? I like the
with
fermented
vinegar.
egg. And you just let the yolk, right?
I don't know how it's made. I just know
Ah.
it tastes good.
Jarrah. That's what you would choose for our repeat.
I don't know. No, now I'm overthinking it. But
We're not mixing food with music anymore.
Let's stay with
maybe
the
not. Maybe
tortilla.
maybe
Let's stay with the tortilla.
yeah, sure. We'll go with that. I don't mind.
For me, what is a comfort food? It's a dish of rice, and there is also slow cooked meat there. This is how I imagine it. This is for me.
Just vegetarian, but
It can be vegetarian meat. Oh, but it's good. I appreciate that you go with this way to be vegetarian, because it's not easy. It requires a lot of discipline. In my
I don't.
opinion.
I don't.
it was
know.
born
Oh,
vegetarian.
yeah, I was born vegetarian, so I don't know. It's just always been.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This is interesting. And you never thought about trying meat?
Like I've tried.
And what do you think about it?
I don't know. I don't like it. But like for a period when I was like teenager and stuff like that, I used to have some seafood and stuff like that. But then I decided to. I don't know. It was more of like a environmental thing that I didn't really want to eat seafood anymore. But even though I miss it, I actually love seafood. I love eating fish and stuff like that. But I don't do it anymore. But then no, I've never had steak in my entire life. I've never had beef. I think I've accidentally had chicken in something like in a gravy or something like
That's
that. I don't know.
sick.
It disgusts you when you think about eating meat? Or you just don't feel it
No, I just
appeals
don't-
in any way?
No, it's not appeals to me. Like if it's like being force fed to me, then at that moment I definitely would find it disgusting. But like it's fine. It's not like I can't be around it or anything like that. It's not like that.
I was vegetarian for like 2 years and something, and I got a point when I was very disgusted. Like even the idea of it,
Interesting.
it would like make me puke. But then
Wow.
it's like chapters I feel in life. Like, yeah, it goes on off. I don't know.
Yeah, for me too, I was vegan.
Yeah,
Vegan
me
is the
too.
more hardcore,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I came here to Berlin as vegan.
Okay.
But I think the reason was because most of the industry of animal products is very bad.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
absolutely.
And I was sick. I was eating meat, I was eating eggs, I was drinking milk, and my body did not react good to that.
course.
So I realized I better not use it.
Yeah.
So I was completely vegan, and then one day I started to do ketosis diet. You guys know what is it?
Yeah.
You just eliminate carbohydrates, basically.
Uh-huh.
And then most of your energy comes from fat. And it's funny, it's so counterintuitive, but when you eat a lot of fat, you get thin.
Crazy.
Yeah, carbs, it's what makes us basically have more fat.
Yeah.
Because we don't use it as energy, then the body stores it as fat.
Yeah.
But when we don't eat, then the body starts to produce ketone bodies. And they're like, they basically use the fat as energy. And it's also cleaner to the brain. So I heard about it. I thought, wow, it sounds
Let's
so
try it,
crazy.
yeah.
Let's try it. Let's see if they're not bullshitting me somewhere on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then I really lost a lot of weight. I became very skinny, so I lost a lot of fat. And a friend of mine came to me one day with wild boar.
Wow.
After I was vegan for maybe half a year or something like in this period of time.
Yeah.
And it's not that I did not like meat, but I just knew that whatever I'm going to buy, it's probably toxic.
Yeah.
Sure.
Until he brought me this wild boar, and it was immediately just ate one bite of it, and I felt energy coming back to me. And then I was on the hunt to find good sources of meat
Yeah.
and good sources of food. And now I'm mostly eating meat and animal products, and this is what is good for me. And I think everyone is individual.
Yeah, sure.
And you just need to listen to your own body. I think it's way more smarter to listen to our own bodies, what we need, than listen to society, what they tell us that is moral or it saves the planet. And this is the best thing.
Yeah. Also listen to your economy, because for example, like I went vegetarian because I couldn't pay the good meat, so I rather not take meat than
when it's cheap meat.
When it's cheap meat. So and still now, like, I don't buy meat in the supermarket because it's super expensive, so I rather just eat it like when I go to eat outside, or like when I know the meat it's like good, you know.
Yeah, I think there is a big difference between the value of something and how much we pay for it.
Yes.
And sometimes it's not really aligns together. For example, I buy really cheap meat, but it's high quality.
Crazy.
I pay for 1 kilo of chickens, €5.
What?
Yeah, and it's free chickens, happy chickens. Yeah, it depends where you find it. If you find also hunters, you can buy for very cheap wild animals, wild meat, wild game. Yeah, I remember I bought with a friend of mine.
Where? How? I'm doing eat it, but I'm just curious.
Yeah, you need to make the effort to look around and just to ask if you see some markets. They're all around Germany markets. Yeah, in Berlin there you have some really good ones. There is one in Boxhagenerplatz. There is one in here in Maybachhofer. There is also one. There is in Wedding one. There is all over the place. They're just markets you just need to find.
Okay.
And then you look for what you think that might look good for you, that you want to buy, and then you ask them where they got the stuff from.
Yeah,
And
sure.
it just surprised me how many good stuff there is around here, also with vegetables.
Yeah,
There are
absolutely.
very amazing stuff around here. Veggies might be more expensive, but I think with a little bit of effort and research, there are some good prices as well. God bless food.
Oh my God.
That's very interesting. And you both from different places in the world as well. So it's interesting how both of you can fuse together the cultures. Do you think it's something that is being also affected the music? You bring some Spanish vibes, Sara, and you bring some Aboriginal stuff. I'm kidding.
I'm not Aboriginal there. But
I don't know. I mean, there's definitely we have our backgrounds with us, but I wouldn't know what exactly shows up from that, you know, in the EP.
well, the harmony is actually quite Spanish.
Yeah,
Like the chords. Like,
Definitely.
it's extremely Spanish.
definitely. But I'm also from the north, so like I wouldn't also say I have my roots in flamenco. Not at all. Like,
Sure.
But
Also because I wrote the demo way before I met you. So
yeah. That's a big question I do to myself a lot of times. Like, what's your background? And I still don't have an answer to that. Like, because there's a lot of stuff that, for example, when we're talking with friends of musicians, are like, oh, that's a classic, or like, don't you know this artist, or don't you know this song? And I'm like, no. And then I'm like, I ask myself, where or what was I listening to while the rest of the world was listening to that? Or like, why is it considered a classic? And this is something I still don't have an answer to.
What are your inspirations?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, because I was definitely listening to a lot of musicals when I was younger. Like, I started doing theater musicals, which I love. Or like, it was the CDs that my father was doing to me in the car, you know, like he was just mixing very different artists like Red Hot and Janis Joplin in the same CD and like stuff like that. But I definitely missed a lot of the classics in the world, which I'm trying to catch up with, but there's a lot. So like, yeah, I don't know. I'm still thinking about that.
But it's nice to discover a classic once it's not a classic anymore, because you have years that you discover now.
Yeah. Also, I'm the kind of person who's a bit bothered when someone tells you like, oh, don't you know that? Like, you have to listen to that. And you're like, why do I have to listen to that? And it happened to me with Erykah Badu. Like, I never heard to Erykah Badu before, like 2 years ago maybe. And then at some point, I just felt like, okay, now I feel like, let's listen to Erykah Badu. And I just discovered her. I got completely crazy, of course. But I waited for my time to come to feel like listening to Erykah Badu, you know? Or like, funky. I hated funky until like 2 years ago, and
Like
now I love funky.
Like the funky music.
Funky music. I hate it. Like, what the fuck?
Interesting.
And there was like Earth, Wind and Fire, and you gotta listen to that. And I'm like, no, enough. And then I love funky music, you know.
What changed all of a sudden?
I don't know. I think it just chapters in life, you know, like you just have a moment where you feel like, now I feel like a bit more dancey stuff, and a bit more disco vibe, or like more enjoying friends dancing than techno, or like, and it just happens that it's your moment to listen to that. I mean, we all know like things placed in the wrong moment are not working. It might be the best thing you can listen in life, but if it's not the right moment for you, you'll probably never listen to it again, you know.
Yeah.
So I really believe you gotta wait for the moment you feel like discovering the classics, or like stuff you should know, you know.
Yeah. What about you, Jarrah? What are your early inspirations?
I know it's interesting because as Sara was speaking, I was sort of thinking like like the first music I was listening to. Well, and then I sort of went to this idea of my first musical memory, actually. And I'm not sure if it's like it's probably not like it's, you definitely can't hear this music in like anything that I release or anything that like I write or compose or anything like that. But I have such a clear first musical memory, which is of Bob Marley, of my dad. He would play so much Bob Marley when I was 4 years old, 3 years old, 5 years old, stuff like that. So that's such a, I don't know why, it's just such a clear like first musical memory. I always like that term. But then, I don't know, I think it changed as I've also gone through a massive, very, very wide change of musical preferences over the years. Also, once when I was playing guitar, I was like listening to metal and all that sort of stuff. And so, I know, I would say like my influences now are not the stuff I was listening to when I was 8 years old or 10 years old or 14 years old or 16 years old. It's the stuff I was listening to, when I was 18 to 20 or 21. And then it's sort of, even from there, it's sort of changed over the last 4 years and then, or 5 years. Yeah. Anyway, I know it's a bit hard to describe because it's constantly changed. I'd say in the last 4 or 5 years, it's been so much more produce heavy influences. Ever since I studied music, it's like some sense of jazz has sort of always been there in the back of my head, even if it's just like chords and harmony and stuff like that. But and that carries over if it's like jazz infused rock, or if it also goes to hip hop, or if it goes to R&B or soul or house or disco. I don't know, it goes many different ways, I guess.
What are you looking for when you listen to a song, or what grabs you in song? Because it looks like you
Rhythm.
cross genres.
Rhythm, absolutely.
It's just the rhythm.
Like that's if there's no rhythm, I probably won't listen to it. Most of the time, it's such an important thing for me. And that's sometimes when I really can't. I struggle listening to like solo albums or songs or or stuff where it's like arranged just for like just solo piano and a voice or something like that. It's just when there's not something that's like making me move and be engaged and be a bit more physical with how my body is engaged as well, then it won't have as much of a long-lasting effect on me.
For me, it's very important the sense of dynamics in a song. Like, I enjoy and I engage when an artist knows how to make you travel through the song, like how the sense of tension and release, For me, that's very important. What keeps me until the end of the song, you know, or what keeps me from not like just skipping and going to the next one. This is something very important to me.
Yeah. No, actually, I agree with that. I think the dynamics is what keeps me there for the whole song, and the rhythm is what keeps me repeating that song.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
What
Yeah.
about feelings that you get from a song? Is it something you pay attention to? I feel sometimes for me, songs are kind of drugs. It depends on what kind of emotions I want to feel.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel I want to just soak in my own sadness, so I put really depressing songs. Sometimes I feel I want
Sure.
to lift myself up, so I put
Yeah,
other
of
songs.
Yeah,
Yes.
sure.
Is it also something that you look for, or sometimes you might have a song but you're not sure what's going on, so you hear it again and again until it settles? Is it also something that happens?
I'm not sure. Like, I've definitely absolutely experienced stuff like that. The example that you made in the past. But I think for me at the moment, it's more, I don't know, I guess I'm wanting most of the time one general positive engagement or mode or emotion from when I listen to music, and that can be, and then I guess the more the variation is the energy. If it's high energy, if it's low energy, if it's like chilling, but it's still got this like slower, more introspective engagement, then I don't know. I guess I still want it to be positive. Is it like the sense of joy, or I want to go dance, or I want to. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure where I'm going with this point.
I listen to a lot of reggaeton to help me like find energy to do the stuff. That's definitely something that I love, and I think reggaeton is very underrated and very hated in Berlin, and I really love it. Like, I think it's one of the best things to like give you energy and empowering, and like I use it to go to the gym, to go to the U-Bahn, to go to like party. Like, yeah, I love it. But I cannot play it, for example, if I work in a cafe, you know. Someone will walk in and be like, hey, can you just like switch it off?
It's funny how Agaton got the name that he got, yeah.
Yeah, they're very polarizing.
Yes, some people completely hate it, some people really love it.
Yeah.
It's fine it's hard to find someone in the middle. Say
Yeah.
it's okay.
Absolutely.
It's really funny.
Yeah.
All right. So what else would you like to tell about the collaboration between you guys? Is there anything else you would like to share? Anything about future plans? How people can find you?
Well, people can find us playing every 2 weeks in Badehaus or Rotwart with Soul Jam. We are part of the house band and we perform there in every event. And we're also the curators of it, along other people, of course. So that's an amazing space, I would say, to come and chat and connect and like play together. And then also all the social media and Spotify.
Yeah. So Skyline Sun.music on Insta, and that's
Mio.ma.music
.music.
and Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mio Ma, which
Mio
is a
Ma.
cool name. And
Thank you.
If you want to explain once again where it comes from, I really love this explanation.
Well, it got a point where I had to choose an artistic name, name. And then I overthought it for a long time. And then at some point I was like, wait, I very much like the sound of Mio Ma, and the M is definitely the consonant of the pleasure, which, what do you express like when you like something? So I very much liked it and I chose it, Mio Ma. Yeah.
That's very cool. I like the symbolism.
Yeah, that's funny. I never thought of, like, of course it makes sense, but the M being like the consonant of pleasure. Like I was eating yesterday. I remember eating very vividly. I was so hungry up until that moment, and I was just like, and
Yeah.
like, yes.
Yeah.
There is a funny meme that it's like advertising duct tape. It can turn every no into That's a funny one. We'll finish with that. Thank you guys for coming. That was really
Thank you
beautiful.
so much.
Cheers. Thanks a lot.
Ciao, people.
You crossed me in the distance from far away. Lightning light in the meanwhile time we're gone, we're gone. I have no faith in the lap of a stranger. It's the unknown taking back the courageous. I have no faith in the lap of a stranger, in the lap of a stranger. It's the unknown taking back the courageous, taking back the courageous. She calls, I call. The night has come, and we have nowhere to go. It all looks low. Down, down, down. Double bell, bell, double bell, bell, double bell, bell. I have no faith in the lap of a stranger. It's the unknown taking back